Okay, so let me go ahead
What's
and.
your name?
J. J-A-Y.
J-A-Y?
Jay is here.
Nice to have you with us, Jay. And
Did you bring the mats?
Don't need
use a
them.
mat. We got 'em.
These are fine. Make yourself at home.
Your husband?
Wes.
Wes,
Hey,
greetings. Welcome. Good morning to you.
so we are online with a whole bunch of people. We'll turn the camera around and show you who we got. So we got people from San Diego to Wisconsin to North Carolina.
That's amazing.
Denver and
The Mediterranean.
Spain.
Oh, wow.
Spain is here this
Corinne's
morning.
just in from Switzerland, so we're regathering the clan.
Somebody's cozy.
There was a film, I think it was called Taurus Bulba, and in the beginning of it, it shows this guy riding across the steppes, and you hear a horn sound go. Yeah, it's Ukraine, and then a couple more horsemen join them, then more horns, and then more people join them. Pretty soon, there's this army of about 40,000 horsemen storming across. Every time I think about that, it just gives me goosebumps. So this is kind of like that gathering,
Like everybody coming in.
everybody coming in,
Yeah.
clan reassembling from diaspora.
I love the doors.
Thank you so much.
They're so beautiful.
Thank you. We had a great time
Doing it.
doing it. I'll
Okay,
give you the story afterwards. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm going to start out with a couple of readings from Rumi. What we've been doing is we've been exploring a concept in non-duality, and that is that, and it's a fundamental part of mindfulness, is that you are not your thoughts, you're not your feelings, you're not your body. And how can we say that? We can say that because there are times when there are no thoughts, and yet you have a sense of self that still endures even without thought. You can have no emotions, and there's still a sense of self that endures. But that sense of self begins to disappear the minute we lose awareness. Awareness is actually the foundation of who we are. So awareness is awareness of thought. And we confuse what we're aware of for who we are. And that's a fundamental mistake that the West makes ever since Descartes with I think, therefore I am. We've identified with our thinking, not with what's aware of our thinking. So animals have awareness, but they don't have thought. Children have awareness, but they don't have thought. They function very well in the world. So many of the teachers say, unless you become again as a little child. Well, when we begin to understand polyvagal theory, we're talking about being ventral vagal. We're talking about a place where we're aware of being aware, but we're also very open to the world, very moving out into it. The question of our worthiness doesn't enter into the picture. We're curious, we want to discover. And that's some of what we're going to explore today is what is the nature of consciousness. But first I have to have a little one for wintertime. This is a Rumi I ran into. It says, don't think the garden loses its ecstasy in the winter. It's quiet, but the roots are down there riotous. I like that, particularly that reminder that there is this ecstatic exuberance, an unrest that's at the very core of life. The Unitarians have a hymn that begins, a fierce unrest seethes at the core of all existing things. It was the eager wish to soar that gave the birds its wings. Sing we know, ordered firmament, cold, ordered regular. We sing the stinging discontent that leaps from star to star. So what has that got to do with these things? Well, it's because the mind constantly wants to divide reality. It's a fundamental split in the brain where the first gateway says desirable, neutral, undesirable. And if we're not aware at that level of the brain that already the brain is filtering out our experience. We're not living life as fully as we could be living it. And Rumi says, out beyond ideas of right doing and wrongdoing. Hear that, out beyond ideas of right doing and wrongdoing. And here's where it becomes unitary. So we start out with the distinction between good, bad, right, wrong. Now, when we go past that, we get into the union of those opposites. The Lutheran theologian, great theologian of the 20th century, Paul Tillich, said God is the union of opposites. So we make a distinction between things that can be distinguished. I can distinguish hot and cold, but underneath is temperature. And temperature is what unites both the hot and cold. So he's saying, let's go beyond ideas of right doing. There's a field. I'll meet you there. Okay. What does he mean by the field? The field is what we're talking about as openness. That when you look at the nature of consciousness, it has no awareness is a field of emptiness. It's a vessel. It contains, values its capacity to contain everything that's unfolding in existence. So he's saying, that's where I'm going to meet you. So my sense of being a separate self begins to dissolve in that openness when I let go, as he says here, when the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Okay, again, pointing is to fulfillment. Where does fulfillment lie? It doesn't lie in acquisition, in trying to get things. It comes when I open and I fully empty, then everything that I think of as not me rushes in to fill that emptiness. And a sense of fulfillment comes not through acquisition, but through emptying.
And non-doing.
And non-doing. Ideas of language, even the phrase each other, doesn't make any sense. So from this place of union, all the distinctions dissolve. So I'm going to read again from David Data, this book called Naked Buddhism. And he's going to have some interesting perceptions because we think once we begin to become spiritual, that that's the end of the journey. And he's going to point us to the fact that that's just the beginning of the next stage of the journey. So here's what he said. This section is called Relax as You Are. He says, self-improvement is better than shame, but less mature than openness. Do you like that? Mm. Self-improvement is better than shame, but less mature than openness. You could grow in your approach to negative emotions. As you start to become more self-aware, you may notice yourself wallowing in negativity, even as you deny that you have a problem. Negative emotions clearly drain your energy. They drag you down. Hate, anger, lust, depression, greed. It's better to be loving, compassionate, creative, and generous, or so it seems. So you grow to the next stage. You dedicate yourself to self-improvement. You can use many methods to transform your negative emotions into positive ones. You can go to a therapist and discover the root of your anger in childhood. You can learn to reframe your experience so when anger comes up, you visualize the best moment of your life. And swish, a new pattern of emotion comes into the moment. Instead of wallowing in anger, you can learn to transform anger into a positive emotion. Instead of hating someone, you learn to feel sympathy for him or her, knowing that as evil as they seem, they are suffering just like you, searching for answers. Rather than festering in envy, you grow to feel abundance. How wonderful it is that beauty is overflowing everywhere and through everything. And when a negative emotion comes up, instead of denying it, getting tense and stuffing your face with food or alcohol, you can learn various ways to transform heavy emotions into positive and energetic motivations and feelings. You used to feel ashamed of yourself, and now you feel good about yourself. Eventually, however, if you continue to grow, your desire to transform negative emotions into positive ones begins to feel false. Your need to feel good about yourself begins to be a burden. You feel your need to feel successful, lovable, and unique begins to feel unnecessary, like a scab ready to fall off. Just as you were once motivated to feel good rather than bad, now you're naturally ready to open without any self-image. Okay? Now ready to open without any self-image, positive or negative, to protect you from what is. Okay? So this becomes another false self. This is one of the biggest traps that Trungpa called spiritual materialism, where I begin to consume positive experiences, where I begin to search for spiritual experiences, spiritual places, try to appear spiritual, but it's the same ego that's creating a solid barrier between me and a full experience of the world. As you grow spiritually, your approach to negative emotion naturally matures. First, you flounder in negativity, altering between denial and shame, and then you embark upon a well-intentioned effort to transform negative emotions into positive ones, improving yourself so you become a more successful and lovable person in the mirror of your self-worth. Finally, you can't help but live true to what is, whatever is. You stop trying to buoy yourself up with motivation and positive thinking. You open as the lack and the darkness you sometimes feel. You're willing to feel, breathe in everything, dark and light, opening into every now moment. Your life is no longer lived as a hope for success and love, but as an unfolding openness. Suppose you feel down on yourself, you feel unworthy. So you decide to use an affirmation in order to brighten your sense of self. I deserve love and success. I am unique, powerful, and a worthy person. Affirmations can work for a while, but eventually, if you continue growing, affirmations can begin to feel a little thin. Your feeling grows deeper, and under it all, in spite of your efforts, you sense that you are still nothing. How can you work with depression and continue growing? If you're willing to feel exactly what it is and open as you are, then your life unfolds in truth. For instance, if you are not feel that you are nothing, then open to nothingness as fully as you can. I'm nothing. Feel relax into the pit of nothingness. Allow yourself to sink into the blackness. Feel the resistance, soften. Feel dark nothingness seeping through your skin, pervading your body, moving through your heart and gut. Breathe, relax, and open as dark as nothing. You are openness, alive as darkness. Yet continue opening as you are, feeling outward in all directions without bounds. As darkness, breathe, open, feel, allow the moment to unfold, open as you are one. So we're going to experiment again today in our meditation with staying open, with softening regardless of what causes you to constrict. So it's natural for the brain to constrict against discomfort, whether it's physical discomfort, emotional discomfort, mental discomfort. First instinct is constrict. That's the protective, defensive part of us. But when we know that we're safe, sitting on our cushions, in our sanghas, we know and ground in that connection with this safety, in connection with the earth, grounded, I'm here, then begin to open outward. And so we're really, what we're nowadays calling expanding your window of tolerance. How long before you shut down? How long before it disintegrates into chaos? You've got two things that are out here that threaten us. So in your meditation, begin to pulse against these restrictions and constrictions in your body. So you're going to feel it first. This is why we first anchor in sensations. The first resistance begins in the body. It begins in the breath. It begins in those stress points in the throat, in the heart, in the hands, um, forehead, and the scalp, the butt. Um, so we soften to the resistance on a physical level, softening the body. Notice that your breathing changes. The minute that you go sympathetic or go dorsal, you get into the panting breath, the shortness of breath. Allow the breath to settle, to deepen, become longer. Now, the key, again, most of us, when we try to deepen the breath, how many of you try to get a nice deep breath and go, and paradoxically, what happens is that signals your body that you're under threat, is what you do when you get surprised, okay? So Linnell had this thing where she'll get laryngeal spasms. So we had just finished singing a concert, and I look over at her, and she's drinking her water, but all of a sudden she starts going, and she starts turning cyanotic. She's blue. And I'm going, oh, great, I'm going to sit here and watch my wife die in front of me from laughing and singing. And so I go, can you breathe? Are you choking? Can't get a breath. So she, and I said, okay, don't try to inhale, exhale. So she goes, when you go, it signals to the body that you're safe. So what's the next thing that happens after?
Inhale.
You inhale spontaneously. So it's learning how you work. So slow the exhale, calm the body down. Then we begin to create space around the thoughts and the emotions. So someone at our retreat was playing with this thing, and I said, this is exactly what meditation does, okay? It says it creates space. You relax into the openness that you are. Once you understand you are an openness that is extensive as the universe, you contain the universe in your openness. Then what we do is to let all the thoughts, all the feelings, all the emotions, all the trapped body expand. And as it expands, look at how less intense it is. Okay? So when we constrict against life, we hold it in. It becomes suffering. The only control that we really have in life, is Buddhism 101, is that suffering is our constriction against what's actually happening. Okay? I can't control the pain. I can't control the discomfort. I can control my response to it, and I can give it plenty of space to unfold and unwind. Okay? So, does this motion look like anything?
Breathing.
Breathing, okay? This is how the universe moves in pulsing, expansion, contraction. So we're learning to ride the waves, not to be scared. It's like, here we are again. It looks like winter. It looks like nothing's happening, but there's a riot going on.
In the roots.
In the roots, can we still connect to the fullness, to the richness of everything that's happening in the moment? So with those kind of things in mind, we'll settle into the meditation. And I invite you to save any questions for when we come back together after the meditation. So,
Okay.
Homie. allowing yourself to let go of all doing, all striving, all compulsive meaning making. Feeling the body beginning to settle into the sheer relief of simply being. Allowing yourself to land in this moment. Taking a step back. Stepping out of the monkey mind. And simply watching it. Becoming aware of the space around the thoughts. Stepping back into simple awareness. Letting the mind settle in the body and anchor in the body. The sensations in the body are your purest experience of the energy of the universe. Experiencing energy without the mediation of thought. Allowing the body to begin to soften as the breath becomes slower, the exhale longer. No effort. Feel the body's response to your bringing awareness into it. Is it resistant? Is it welcoming? If you feel resistance to bringing awareness into the body, don't resist the resistance. Allow it. Soften to it. Welcome it as an integral part of your experience and not something that's wrong. Opening to whatever is. Feeling the breath creating space in the body. As the breath relaxes on the exhale, feel the body softening into the space created by the breath. Like a fist unclenching. If you find that your mind keeps intruding, treat the mind like a child that wants attention. The more you fight it, the noisier it's going to get. And see it as energy that wants to release. Creating space in your awareness for the thoughts to unfold. No need to take them seriously or figure out why they're there. What it means, it's just sound and fury signifying nothing. Your brain doing what the brain does, which is to generate thoughts. 80% of your thoughts you've thought before. Nothing new. Mind becoming spacious. Thoughts beginning to float like clouds. They may rush at the beginning when you first open to them, but over time, the energy will dissipate, and you begin to find the spots between the thoughts. And let those spaces lengthen. Keeping your awareness open to experiencing the sensations in the body and the thoughts unfolding in the same field of awareness. Same way with emotions. Neurochemical reactions in the body. When the lens is wide open, you begin to see the connection between a thought triggering an automatic emotional response, triggering a tightening in the body, cascading in half a second. No matter how tight and compressed those emotions may feel, in the space of open awareness, let the energy unfold. without judgment. And a final opening. Open the world outside you, following the senses. What's the most distant thing that you can hear? What's the farthest container that you feel? Is it your body? Is it the room? Is it the visible world? Your awareness extends to the edges of the universe. Relaxing into that identity, letting go of the ego and control. Experiencing yourself as a point of awareness in a vast field of energy. It's beyond naming, beyond controlling. Constant dance of energy that unfolds without your permission. Beginning to feel how it dances your body. Sometimes ecstatic and erotic. Sometimes stagnant. The dance of the universe, there are no missteps. Beginning to sense even the slightest intimations of the boundarylessness of your being. Spaciousness, awareness, it's beyond right or wrong, good or bad. Your being softening into a yes. Without resistance. body soft and receptive. Mind open and spacious. The heart relaxing into its natural state of compassion, which is simply openness to all of life. Developing the capacity to see it all without closing. Just energy dancing, unfolding in the spaciousness. Wake. Open. Receptive. So there. Okay, questions, comments?
Why'd you stop? I was just getting settled.
We needed to just keep going.
Because I don't like you, Matthew.
He loves math.
I love you.
Yeah.
I had to give you something that when I did therapy, one of the first things they taught was always leave them hungry and wanting more. They'll come back. Don't give them show them all your gold too quick. Unfold it a little at a time. So it's always there. It's always there to come back to. That's the beauty.
On a funny note, I realize I get triggered by birds.
Really?
Because, yeah, when I hear a bird, it's like, oh my gosh, I got to get to work because the birds are always working. So I got to do my stuff. You know?
Yeah.
So I managed during this meditation to realize that and to open up to it. So that's a good thing.
Well, I love that, Corinne, because actually they found that our nervous system, after listening to 6 minutes of bird song, automatically shifts out of fight or flight into ventral. And I knew immediately why, because in the forest, when the birds are singing, it means there are no alpha predators. And so over time, our brain's been conditioned to respond. Now, what you're doing a beautiful job of describing is how the Protestant work ethic has taken nature and transformed it into object lessons to keep us under control. So as the early bird gets the worm, so it's already out there gathering worms. He neglects to say that it's out there getting that wonderful red light shift in the morning and
Well,
taking.
it's even worse. It's like the other day I heard a cardinal and he was doing his spring song. And I'm like, what's the matter with you? You can't do that.
Right. I'm going to correct nature. You're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
The mind is a horrible thing. Isn't it? Isn't it? Okay.
But
Anybody?
only a bird brain would want to eat worms.
That's right. No, wait. Well, yes. Or a dachshund. He loves worm jerky.
Yep.
So, okay. I have a question. Nancy,
Yeah,
are you still there? Unmute.
there she is.
How did you
Yes,
get
I'm here.
I keep forgetting how you got to us.
I've been studying with Hansa Knox for
You're with Hans.
over 25 years. Yeah.
Okay.
She got me here.
Right.
I couldn't remember. Carry over.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Thank
back.
you.
Yeah, glad to have you. Didn't scare you off last week.
No, not at all. In fact, I'm thinking of inviting someone else for next time. So,
Be
Lovely.
glad to have
yeah.
you. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
So are you in the Denver area?
No, I'm actually now in Texas. So I'm in Houston.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually a native Texan. So
Did you grow up?
I grew up in West Texas out in the Odessa Midland area.
Okay.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, it was just lovely. Thank you.
Right. Come on, guys.
Comments? Complaints?
You said about the self-improvement.
Yep.
I think we live in the self-improvement stage, and people talk about it, and I think for me, it becomes so toxic, this toxic positivity, and it resonated with me when you said embrace the nothingness, the darkness.
Right.
I wrote it down.
Yep.
Open to it.
Right.
Instead
Yes.
of like rejecting all the negative feelings, always feel positive.
Right.
It becomes so annoying that hearing opening to the darkness and nothingness feel very
Mm-hmm.
refreshing.
Yes. Good for affirming that.
Mm-hmm.
Could you all hear what she had to say?
No, not really.
Not really about the pressure of always staying positive and not experiencing negative emotions. The Buddhists have, the Tibetan Buddhists have what's called the wheel of diluted existence. And at the top of it is one called the false heaven, which I call the land of Lululemons. Because it's a place where everyone is acting very spiritual and everything looks peaceful and everything looks really serene. And it's one of the major obstacles to spiritual growth is that, it's still dividing life into half. It's a false division. There are no divisions in life. So again, we're saying that this state is desirable, more desirable than this state. When you hear the language that I'm using, I'm not even saying that staying open all the time is preferable to staying closed. That's why I got this thing out. Okay, what you don't want is you don't want this. And that's where we get into trouble, is when we get locked into a particular state and we can't shift out of it. So as long as we're doing this, as we're moving between poles, we're alive, right? So when you get somebody flatlined, they're dead. When you're flatlined, either in depression or mania, you're pretty much dead too. So it's uh,
Movement.
that movement,
Of opening.
of opening and closing and shifting, and it's the participation in that flow of energy that's actually the peace. We tend to think of peace as being something static, and the Christian idea of heaven, sitting around playing harps and singing hymns to God all day in white robe, bored the shit out of me. I mean, I think I could tolerate that for a week maybe, but the Jewish idea, we come back, we're in our bodies, we're going to have our family, we're going to have trees, fig trees, we're going to have a nice home, we're just not going to have any pain. That sounded a lot more appealing to me. But when it comes to that, that's what we're living right now anyway. So we're there, nowhere to go.
I
And-
got something.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
I always in meditation use tools to help me with my thoughts.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
And so one thing you said that when those thoughts come in is to kind of try to separate it and address it like a child.
Mhm.
Don't try to kick it out, but say, hey, or, well, this is what my brain was interested, because I'm very antsy. And I don't know if you noticed, like I go like this, in meditation I'm very, because I have so many. And I was like, oh, I think I need to start using that. Like, don't try to say, refuse it,
Right.
but maybe separate it as treating it like a child. So I'm gonna try to do that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's again look at that. So what she's saying is that she experienced looking for tools in her meditation
Yeah.
to help deal with things. And she liked the idea of treating the thoughts coming in like a child demanding your
And then,
attention.
oh, sorry, you said the part two of it. You also said right after that is also when you do that, that's when you sit back and your thoughts come in like a cloud.
Right.
And I was like, I really saw it. And I'm like, you no longer control me. I'm now
Okay.
separated. And
So she's saying that when you begin to let the things go and unflow, step back, begin to flow like clouds, when you don't resist them. So the thing, we use this in recovery a lot. We say what you resist persists. And so like with the child, I found with my daughter that when she was demanding my attention and I'd say, not now, not now, if she still kept going, I would spend less time if I went, okay, honey, let's do what you want to do. And then when we do that, she'd be quiet again. So it's the same way with this energy. Now she's saying when she sits, she gets fidgety. Again, what we think is meditation is not meditation. I do Tai Chi. Linnell does yoga. She likes the poses, the stretching, the quietness of that. I like to move. My body wants to move when I meditate. Okay, so do Tai Chi, do Qigong, do in more active form, do walking meditation. It's not what you're doing, it's how conscious are you, how aware are you in that moment. So,
So everything becomes a meditation.
okay, look.
If you can control me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the reason that we feel empty, the reason that we have that sense there's something more is because we're not awake, because we're disconnected. We feel this emptiness, and that's part of where I was going. I didn't have time today, so I'll come back to it. Is this emptiness that we feel is mistaken. We attach it to things. I think I need a new car. I think I need a lover. I think I need a different job. That's not what we're hungry for. What we're hungry for is that full experience, the sense of the full presence of life, that it's there like a lover, totally right here and present and available to me. So the more I open to that hunger, to that longing, to that desire, the more life comes in and meets me and provides the answer. I'm longing for connection. That's why the name of my group is a spiritual connection. When I'm not here, when I'm transformed, then all that hunger fades into the background. I'm more interested in controlling, understanding, but that hunger doesn't get addressed. Okay? So it's like having your lover right here, but we never take the time to connect. Then what's the use? So the more awake you can be, the
And that,
more you're living life. Only that morning dawns to which we are awake. Henry David Thoreau. Only that day dawns to which we are awake. So it's wake up, wake up.
That's that's
I
why
got,
the encounter with the shark was so this just dawned on me. That you remember me telling you about the shark when we were in Florida and we're on the sandbar and everything's fine, and all of a sudden, oh, there's a shark. And there was a part of me, I mean, obviously I ran, but there was a part of me that I wanted to stay in the water with the shark
Yeah.
because that's as close to God as I'm gonna get, right? That's it. That's why I'm, that's why I like when I'm walking through the woods or something, I kind of want to see a bear. I was in a conversation with some friends last weekend. I had some friends over, and I don't know how we got into this conversation, but we were talking about bears, and both of them were like, I don't think I'd want to encounter a bear when I was, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I want to see a bear. And they were just looking at me and like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no. Like, I want to, like, I mean, I don't want to die, but I want to, yeah, I
all
want
of
that.
life, all of life.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Now here's where one caveat comes in.
Don't give me any caveats, Bart. God damn it.
And I'm only doing this because I love you, Tiff. If I didn't, I'd encourage you to go dancing with bears. But we don't want you to be one of those tourists that gets eaten because they try to pet the bears in Yellowstone. So, story of Ramakrishna. He's talking to one of his disciples. He says, "Why are you afraid?" He says, "You're God. Life is God. Why should God be afraid of God?" I go, "Wow, that is profound. Why should I ever be afraid? I'm God. Everything around me is God." So he walks outside, and an elephant is broken loose from its mahout and is rampaging down the street. And the mahout is going, "Look out, look out." And the guy goes, "What have I to fear? The elephant is God. I'm safe." And the elephant tramples him. So he wakes up in the hospital, and Ramakrishna is sitting there anxiously going, "Oh, thank God you come back." Said, "We're so afraid we had lost you. What happened?" So the guy tells him the story. And he says, "And I'm so angry with you because you said I had nothing to fear." He said, I'm God, the elephant's God, and yet I got trampled. And Ramakrishna says, "Why didn't you also listen to the mahout saying, 'Get out of the way, get out of the way. He's God too.'" So there's a reason why we have a brain that remembers traumatic events for us, because there is an aspect of physical survival which is necessary to be able to appreciate the bears. So it's like, do dangerous things carefully. That's what we say about raising children now. If your child is doing dangerous things and doing it carefully, encourage them. Don't stop them just because it's dangerous. So, you're again making a division that I should unilaterally and unambiguously put myself at risk in life. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that on the cushion in the safety of your meditation, okay? Now, that's why we have warrior mind. We have warrior mind because when I am attacked by a bear, I'm able to respond appropriately, okay? So part of martial arts is learning the art of self-defense and self-protection. So we each carry within us the Holy Spirit, And that Holy Spirit wants to live and thrive, and that includes the desire to be safe even when we're under attack. So don't reduce it to there aren't real threats to me. They're out there. Yeah, Channy?
One of the things that Buddhism teaches in meditation is discernment. And so you get to wisdom by also practicing discernment. So we have awareness. We learn to be more aware in meditation so that we can take that out into our daily lives. But with the awareness, we also need to develop discernment. Is this in fact something I should be doing? Or something arises and you make a choice. The awareness enables you to make a choice as to how you're going to respond. How am I going to respond or not react immediately to an insult or to a threat? The bear is coming at you, and you need to very quickly discern, am I in danger? Am I in real danger? Or can I use this as a life experience?
Or both.
And,
Right.
and we need to be careful too with discernment and understanding that that's a discernment that transcends thought. Okay? Because when Bodhidharma speaks, he says, I teach two things. One, first I see, then I act. He doesn't say first I think, therefore I act, because that interjection of thinking is where we keep tripping ourselves up. So it's trusting that there's a wisdom in your body. And this is what science is beginning to finally understand about the fascia and the body mind at a deeper level than the thinking mind, that there's an inherent wisdom in that. And it's learning to tap into that in the moment rather than going through thought. The Buddhists talk about suchness, not the right or wrong, but what is, without the categorizing and the preferences. And that's what we train for. And it's only a half-second difference between that mind. That's the one that when you get into a wreck, it slows everything down. It's like a friend of mine had a wreck coming to my therapy session on Wednesday, and this woman made a left-hand turn, hit the back of his truck, and in it, he's trying to avoid hitting the fire hydrant that was on the right side of his car. So he's getting nailed from the left side, and he's still trying to steer and avoid the fire hydrant, which he managed to do. But it was not his thinking mind that did that. So he was in that thing that they'll do in the movies where everything slows down into slow motion. That actually happens physiologically. And that's the wisdom mind. That's the thing that just kind of gives you this, takes over and enables you to move in a way that your thinking mind can't. And trusting that, you can learn to trust that.
Aren't there times when it's not a critical, immediate situation like the bear coming at you, where clearly you don't really have time to think and analyze the situation? But when you have, I don't know, a friend is having a problem, and you've really got to discern whether this is something that you can help them with or something you need to help them get other help. I'm just trying to find an example, but there may be times when discernment is not something that is a split second thing where there is no time for thinking to intervene.
Mm.
Is Pat wanting to say something? Pat, you need to unmute.
Microphone.
She's getting it.
I need help.
We all do, baby.
My husband and I were hiking years ago in Montana, and we got way up above the timberline. And so we were way on this shale, kind of scary, a little bit scary, really high trail. And I'm terrified of snakes. And I said to him, and he's terrified of nothing. So I said, what would you do if I got bit by a rattlesnake? And he said, well, he said, I see that tree over there. He said, I would take you over there, give you all the clothes, all the food and the water, and I would go for help. And he didn't ask me what I would do, but I volunteered. And I said, okay, if you got bit by a rattlesnake, I would take you over to that tree, sit you down, give you all the clothes and the water, and I would sing to you till you died. Because I am not going to be going down the trail by myself with rabbits. So, anyway, I thought I would just end on a high note here.
Okay.
I think that's an exercise of discernment.
It was,
Way to go, Pat.
you know, that was my point, is that sometimes discernment is when you think ahead and decide, sort of like you said, with a friend who's having a big problem, that can be a bear trap. I mean, you know, you need to know whether you're going to help or you're going to say, go far away and get help, you know. So anyway, just thought I'd bring that up.
So it's all relative, Channing. And it reminds me of something Anthony DeMello says in his book, Way to Love. He says, if you think that changing the world and fixing the world is your path, then go do it. Okay, and you can exercise discernment at that level. That's not what we're doing here. Okay, what we're doing here is trying to find an end to suffering. Okay, the end to suffering doesn't come through having a fixer and a fixee. It doesn't come from seeing life as a problem to be solved. That's not discernment. That's still therapy. That's other things which have value. I'm going to go to a doctor if something's wrong with me. I'll want them to prescribe a good medicine. What we're looking at is, how do I overcome the separation that I feel from life? How do I overcome this deep disconnection that I have, so that when I'm entering a situation, I'm not there to fix me or fix them, but I'm operating from a point of clarity, right? So they're really two different problems. And at that level of the problem, yeah, that's appropriate. But here we're looking for something, a way of experiencing life that ends suffering. And I've used that example of being concerned when the shooting down in, where was it, West Texas, and not being down in Uvalde talking about gun control and stuff like that, and the realization that there was already an expression of compassion down there. I don't have to do everything. So when you look at life at one level, there's nothing to fix. But we still keep feeling that compulsion to fix. The compulsion to fix is all ego, okay? An appropriate response, I don't think, can happen until you've dealt with that. That's Shenpa. Shenpa is that urge to act. So it's the capacity to not do that initial impulse to act, then see, then act, that we're trying to cultivate. So,
and it takes discernment to know when something is Shenpa and to leave it alone.
Right?
But I want to interrupt here. I'm sorry. I want to go back to what Bart divides that between, you know, ending suffering or fixing something. And I want to go back to our meditation because something kind of happened to me when we're out there in this meditation and we're in this space and I was really in that spot, you know, like I was out in the universe, right on the edge of it. And uh, then there was sort of a point of courage. Do I have the courage to do this? Do I have the courage to experience this beauty all by myself and not share it with someone? And that kind of put me right back into the other uh, point of trying to fix everything again. Because then I was like, where is everybody else? Where's the other part of the Sangha? Are they out there in the universe too? Can I reach them? And I wanted to be again with the group and not take the courage to just really take that leap of being, feeling my Holy Spirit or whatever is in me, wanting to be connected to all this beauty and love without worrying about who is, what's going to happen, you know,
Right.
what,
Okay.
you know.
That's a good place to end. And just to say, beyond where you were is the realization that they're all there with you at that moment. Okay. So that's that non-spatial, non-temporal reality that you don't have to spatially be in the same place with each other, that you can have that connection. And actually, that's one of the things I got planned for coming up is how when you get to the point where you feel the interconnectedness of being, you realize you're never alone.
Yeah, but it's takes courage and it's like a pivoting point. It's like, you
Courage,
know, you know.
the courage is in the love you have for them. That's what you got.
Yeah, yeah.
The love and the longing for connection with them is what carries you through the fear. So just follow that longing back out to connection. Find them. So open until you can feel them. Okay, because they're there. We know we're here. So it's waiting long enough for that fear to pass. Let it go through. Let it pass, and then feel the connection. It'll be there. Okay. So, but here the fear constricts. It's the longing and the hunger, which was part of what I was going to do today and didn't get time, that carries you through the fear into action. So stay with the longing.
All right then.
Right.
All right, 3 rounds of Om and a wow. Deep breath in. Wow.
Wow.
So Nancy, could you leave your info in the chat room for us so we know how to get in touch with you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, everybody, have a great week.
Love
Thank
you
you all.
guys. I'm off to eat more cheese.
Do this. We got. I'm going to be doing some stuff on the Heart Sutra, and the
More
one
to
on
come.
compassion is a really neat one. It'll tie right in. I'll do that next, Corinne.
Whee!
Okay. Thank you all. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Love you all. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
That was wonderful.
Ah.
Thank you.
What is the name of the ball? I have one at
There does have a name. I ordered it for yoga. I teach yoga, so this is the breath, you know, you
No, I mean
open.
the ball that there's a name.
Oh, the bowl.
Yeah.
Oh.
This?
Yeah.
It's a singing bowl.
It just makes me.
It's a singing bowl.
I
Yeah.
do that all the time at home, like if I'm down or something.
So one of the people.
Energy or what?
Yes, it's the energy. So one of the people who comes sometimes is Leanne Goldman. Leanne is a massage therapist who also does vibrational healings and chants. And for our group that we had to kind of get the place going here, she did a sound bath.
Honey, I think you're blocking him. Sorry.
I don't
No,
think
you're
he's
not.
going anywhere.
No, he's fine.
That's our son.
He's staying.
Husband.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's definitely the vibrations. And some of the bowls are actually attuned to heart chakra.
Oh.
So